Hey, welcome to Fuck You Talks and
this is
my podcast.
Jeff Fargo.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. No shit, bro.
Eat a bag of dicks
All the time.
Don't.
I don't
Please,
do.
give me a fucking
Obviously, we've had this conversation. I don't do video content at all. Actually.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Interesting.
Nothing. I suck at that, but I know enough to like look at it and be like, "You're making my eye twitch." I don't need you to reintroduce yourself. Because guess what? That 7 seconds of your 15 seconds to capture my attention is gone.
Absolutely gone.
It's gone already.
Yeah. People that are announcing their names on their social, on a little like short video on Instagram Reels that's 10 seconds long. Hi, I'm Jeff Fargo with Fargo Real Estate. I'm out. Bye.
Well, 100%. Like if somebody's looking at the tour of the home, they're looking at the tour of the home.
Yeah.
You can say like, welcome to, this address in the heart of Summerlin. Let me take you on inside. And that's it. And then at the end, if people are still there, you can say, now if you have any other questions, holler at your girl.
Absolutely.
However you want to say, but.
Well, whatever is your style.
Yeah.
Don't try to overact.
Yeah, it gets super awkward.
When you're creating content these days, people have a massive bullshit filter.
Oh, yeah.
And the attention span of a goldfish.
I feel like saying goldfish is actually quite respectful. I would say a flea, but...
All right, let's get back to eating ass. So... Let's get back to anal and eating ass for a second. I think that now the culture has changed that people are much more in tune with the anal area.
So weird.
It's weird.
It's weird.
Well, you're in your early 30s, mid 30s.
36.
Okay,
yeah.
But you're 36 going on 84. Like you're an 84-year-old Jewish woman with a hand knit cardigan that you're wearing. That's you. Okay, driving like a Ford.
I don't know about that.
Driving a Ford Granada. Well,
Ew.
Hey.
No offense to the Granada owners out there.
None, but you are the quintessential old soul. Is you?
Yes,
you are.
I would say that, but listen. Whatever gets your jollies off, bro. Like, if it makes you happy, it makes them happy, and it's a safe environment, and everyone's good with it, and they know the score, cool. But people are fucking weird with their choices.
Hey.
People are, and guess what? Weird has always been a thing, but I guess the stuff that so many years ago was like oh my God, did you hear so-and-so?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. It's so commonplace that if you're like, ew, that's not my thing, people look at you like you're the fucking weird one.
It was back in the day. Weird. Back in the day, the craziest thing ever was like on VHS, Girls Gone Wild.
Oh my God.
Right? All those were like, hey, here's the girls from Alabama. And they're in a bus blowing some guy.
LSU is here in the house.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and there's these
for sure.
ridiculously hot girls in Louisiana, getting doggy styled by some dude. Okay, great. That's nothing compared to now.
Oh my God.
With cell phones and stuff that people are, right?
Pete.
And how people now are so much more open about like anal or eating ass and everything else. I'm like, whoa.
I mean, I guess it's one of those things that it's like, listen, to each their own, not my thing. But I guess I can respect people's ability to be more open sexually, and that we're now in the time where like you can let that freak flag fly, whatever color that flag may be, and love it and be who you are. And guess what? There will always be somebody that wants to eat your ass and will let you eat theirs. And it's a thing. And I think it's great. It just blows my mind because with some colleagues and friends recently, we were discussing all of it and we were like, we couldn't believe like how different things were from like when we were in high school and now, 15, 20 years later, we're like, holy fuck.
I had no idea. Now I go.
So crazy.
I go every 6 weeks. I get my ass waxed. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah. SOS Wax. Hey, free plug for SOS Waxing in Las Vegas. I go and I get my asshole waxed.
I don't think I've ever had my asshole waxed. I had my asshole lasered though, back in the day.
I'm now like, I'm in a relationship with somebody.
You're a bleacher, aren't you?
Which we have to talk about that one too.
Do you wax and bleach your ass?
No, wax it. If not, it's like fucking Rapunzel back there. Kidding me? You could fucking boondoggle my ass hair after like 4 weeks.
That is.
Yeah.
I
like
got
literally
nothing.
like Rapunzel. You can go out to like Red Rock and hike and go, like glamping and just, go from like peak to peak. Yeah.
I got no comment.
Screw REI. Just use my ass hair. It's fine.
I got nothing. Next. I got no response. No response.
It is, I'm trying to get my girlfriend into it. She won't because she's a nurse. And she goes, Jeff, I look at buttholes every day. I go, but you don't look at mine.
I don't fucking want
and
to.
From previous experience as well.
It's not a fucking.
No, agreed. But I was single for 2 years after the divorce, and
you just want people near your ass.
My asshole is compared to Bacchanal buffet. All right.
Oh my Lord.
Okay, and there's no BOGO to get at this either. Okay.
I can't.
Just saying. But anything more than a finger, I'm out. But now is it pegging? Guys like to get pegged.
I don't even know what the fuck that means. I don't think I want to.
The girl, I'll tell you. If you don't want to know, I'm going to tell you. The girl takes a vibrator and in the guy's ass. It's called pegging. No, thank you. Never done it. Never will. Yeah.
No, thank you.
I had a girl one time ask me if she could wear a strap-on with me. I said, for what? No.
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 I'm just going to say no.
Yeah, that's a hard no.
I'm not wearing one.
You're not right now?
No.
God damn it. Okay.
I left it at home.
We'll have to cut early. It's fine.
Exactly. I don't need a strap on. My dick's bigger than most people's. It's fine. It's fine. It's cool.
So true.
But no, never my thing. I had one ex several years ago that was always hinting at ass play in some different form, not my ass to his ass. And finally, I literally had to have the conversation of like, literally over dinner.
Dinner.
We were eating dinner and I don't even know how it fucking came up in the conversation. And then something got said and I was like, okay, what's the obsession with ass? And he's like, well, and I said, and not my, yours, your ass. You have an obsession with your own ass, touching it, being around it, wanting people to be around it, which is fine. I'm not interested in getting all up in your ass. It's not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what you need, then we need to like reestablish the barriers, the boundaries, the expectations thing. And it was like a legitimate conversation. Like it was so weird. Like so weird. And thank you for saying that, sorry. But it's so weird. So weird. And I was just like, and I mean, we had the conversation and he's just like, oh, well, I was with this girl one time and she stuck a finger in best orgasm and blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
true.
Okay, I've heard that and prostate. I get it.
Yeah,
I totally get it.
You like agitate the prostate or something
but
while getting blown. It's amazing. Yeah.
It was like a big, big thing.
Yeah.
And it ended up being something that I was like, listen, I don't want to be all up in your ass.
And as much as there are women that hate it, there are women that fucking love to eat them some ass.
Oh my God, for sure.
Love. It's hysterical. Let's circle back to you having, as a realtor in Las Vegas, having one of the biggest dicks in Las Vegas as a woman, because you do.
It's a struggle. Pants are hard.
You're like at TJ Maxx all the time.
I have
looking for
they gotta be stretchy.
Elastic waist khakis.
They gotta be stretchy.
Something that has some room to give. But you are somebody that is, for people that don't know you, you come from a real estate background, right? Your mom is a broker. You're a broker.
I am.
But you are someone that you come off as this sweet, wonderful, knowledgeable, articulate woman.
I very much appreciate that. Thank you.
It's true. And you're welcome. And that comes from my heart because I adore you.
I love you.
I adore you, Lexy.
I appreciate the fuck out of you.
I have little goosebumps. It's just, you're wonderful. And there's people that come in here and we do this and it's fun. But then there's people and I go, oh, Lexy's coming in tomorrow. I was like, yeah.
I am excited.
Yeah. Because this is something
I'm excited. I've never done this before. So
never?
No, you're my
I'm
first.
flattered. Oh, well, picture like a little baby bird in my hands. I'll take great care of you.
I've never done this before, so.
It's something that, picture all the wonderful conversations we've had over the years.
There are many.
And there's many of them. Now we're doing it and there's just cameras that are on.
Very true.
That's it.
Very true.
If we ever want to do this again, we do it at night. And I have my friend Mindy comes in and we do tableside wood-fired old fashions.
Well,
on camera. She like
don't
has
tease me with a good
has the
time.
torch with the mesquite chips and everything.
That sounds
And
fucking fabulous.
We do that. And that's a whole nother level. Because you get a couple of drinks in both of us, it's like, oh my. Not that we need any, but it's fun.
I don't really know that cameras should record that.
It's okay. We'd Uber here.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we'd Uber here and be just fine. It's okay.
Safe space.
It's a very safe space. There's no judgment whatsoever. Do you, as somebody who is an alpha female, which to me, someone that is, if I'm a guy and I'm somewhat successful, high intellect, I'm attracted to alpha females. Like that's just on a platonic level, I'm attracted to alpha females because there's no drama. There's no bullshit. It's what you see is what you get, and heart is worn on sleeve.
For sure.
Almost every time.
Oh, for sure.
Right? How has that been for you? Like, when did you know early on that you were an alpha female?
I don't really think it's something that you self-assess. You know what I mean? Where you're like, I'm an alpha female. I'm a boss bitch. Like, I just don't think, I think there are just qualities that you grow into. I mean, growing up, I was very blessed. I grew up with a very strong businesswoman as a mother. And I watched her. And back then, it was men. It wasn't like 50-50 like it is now. It was mainly men. And my mom was a top producer and double Grand Centurion with Century 21. And when she started, and I kind of watched that, and she always allowed me to be who I wanted to be. And I was always very independent. And the older I got, the more I kind of settled into that. And I definitely went through lulls where I gave people way more than I got, found my boundaries. Don't fuck with my boundaries. Now I'm there. And there are people that I care for and I love that I allow a little bit more leverage to push those boundaries because that's just who you are.
They've earned it.
You make excuses sometimes when they're shitty and you can look at them and say, I love you. Fuck you, but I love you.
Yeah.
But yeah, go fuck yourself today. We'll talk tomorrow. Oh, for sure. And you have to be able to do that. And I think for me, I've always kind of been that way in life, and blessedly so. It carries me over in business. I mean, sometimes it doesn't win me favors. There are plenty of men and women out there that don't do well with strong females on the other side.
Absolutely right.
Especially in real estate. I mean, real estate is a collaborative business. I can't do it by myself. I mean, I can and I wish I could. But in reality, I've always said that to be in real estate and to be successful in it, you have to be able to work within a team construct. Very much be who you are, but you have to be able to work with others and collaborate, whether that's realtors on the other side, whether it's title, whether it's escrow, whether it's lenders, and clearly assert those boundaries and respectful expectations, but know how to smooth the barriers and build those relationships. And sometimes when you're a strong female, that's hard. I have had some confrontations here with other realtors, male and female, and I mean, I've had a couple broker calls against myself.
We can omit names.
I had an agent a while back want to show my property that needed proof of funds for showing. He didn't want to give it to me. Do you know who I am? No, I don't.
Which, by the way, when you say, do you know who I am to somebody in this town, that's the fucking kiss of death. I'm out.
I can't.
I'm out. If you say that, or I've been in real estate for years.
Don't give a fuck.
I don't give a frog's fuck how long you've been in business for. Don't care.
He was, number one, 24-hour showing was required and proof of funds. Very clear instructions. Fucking read, bro. And guess what? Sometimes you have a client, they're only in town for the day, you need an exception, and you call and you say, hey, I'm so sorry. And you smooth the way. This guy was just a complete tool. And he was a prick to me. And I literally said, your little dick energy is not working for me. When you want to put on your big boy panties, call me back. And I hung up on him. And he called me and I didn't answer. And then he called me again and he was being once again. And I said, did you want to see the house? Or were you just looking for a fight today? I said, I don't know what your problem is, sir. I don't know who you are. I've never heard of you before. And if you're going to continue to talk to me this way, you're not getting in that house. Like, that's not, like, you need to show me, number one, your buyer has the money to be there, not wasting my client's time. And two, you're trying to show it in a few hours when I need 24. It is what it fucking is. But you trying to throw, like, listen, I said, you're not really giving me freaking big dick envy right now. That's what I said. And he got pissy and he told his broker, who called me because he's a friend.
And called you because he's a friend. And how did that conversation go?
He called me and he's like, babe, did you tell this agent that he had little dick energy and tell him to put on his big boy panties? And I said, oh, you mean the man that tattletaled on me? Like I stole his honey bun in 6th grade? Yeah, I did, and I fucking doubled down. Little dick energy, no dick energy. That is some no dick. He is envious of mine, okay? I was like, I doubled down on that. I doubled down, and I was like, I do not apologize. I don't apologize. I refuse to issue an apology, and if I said you can call my mom, who's my broker. I said, call my mommy. Tell her what I did.
Call my mommy. Tell her what I did, and she'll back me up 100% with what I did.
Clearly she'd be a bit more graceful because anybody that knows my mother knows like my mother is like Job and like letter of diplomacy, brings people together. She's so incredible. And then I'm like, hi, go fuck yourself. Respectfully.
When did you know, given your personality, your confidence, your intellect, that you can't do it alone? Was there a time, I guess, like when you were first starting out and you're like, I feel like I'm screaming in an echo chamber every day. I'm bashing my brains against the wall. What was it?
You know what? I'll be honest. I think I kind of knew that right away.
Really?
I think I kind of knew that right away. I think I struggle very much. Anybody that knows me knows, like, I wouldn't say I'm a control freak, but I'm definitely on like the type A kind of spectrum where sometimes I'm like, if you want it done right, just do it yourself. But I think you realize very clearly in real estate, there are jobs you just can't do. There are things where you have to find partners you trust to step in, and they're going to handle certain pieces of it. And I learned really early on to find those partners and find those people that I trusted and not be afraid to walk away from those that don't fit the buck. Because I think in the beginning, like I'm very loyal to the relationships and the friendships that I have, professional and personally. So for me to walk away from certain relationships in a business, that's my fucking money that you're messing with. And in messing with it, you're disrespecting the personal relationship. And that's why a lot of people try not to blur those lines and mix business with pleasure. Because sometimes if you fuck the business, the personal gets real ugly real quick because it all affects one another. It can.
It can affect it. I think that, full disclosure, we work together.
Absolutely.
And there's times that we do, and there's times that we don't. Totally fine with that. We worked together when I was at Stewart. Mm-hmm. Katie Henry is still one of my favorite people on the fucking planet.
And I adore her.
Love her, right? I mean, what's not to adore?
I adore her. She's a relationship that I created through you, and I stay with her because of the relationship that she's built and the loyalty she's built with me. And there are deals that I do with you, that I do with other people, depending on what fits the transaction best. And sometimes it's just the path of the least resistance based on the deal itself. But I think it's one of those things where you have to understand that there are things you just can't do on your own. And a lot of people here want to step on those toes and they want to try to overstep and they want to try to do the shit they shouldn't be or tell somebody else how to do their job. And sometimes there's the complete other side where somebody... And I want to say it normally, I mean, I've dealt with this on a lot of different things, but sometimes, you kind of have to overstep and say, hi, this contingency is going to expire. Where is this loan document? Where's this? Where's this? And sometimes you have to hold the other party accountable for doing their job and find the way to do it.
In finding a way to do it, if you were overlord of Las Vegas real estate, what edicts would you enact to make realtors' lives better, to make the transactions more harmonious?
I think the two biggest issues, or rather not the two, one of the biggest issues that I find a major gap in has to do with HOAs.
Why?
Number one, I fucking hate them. But they are I feel that HOAs can be a necessary evil, like anything else. I do think they add balance and they maintain integrities in communities and different stuff. I think they are a necessary evil, but I think the power that they have and the abuse of that power is despicable.
Their power is despicable in what ways?
In some it's simple in the sense of the fees that they charge for simple things. Like anybody that's in real estate has bought or sold a home in any recent years knows you have to, whether you're a seller, you have to provide an HOA resale disclosure package to a buyer. And as a buyer, you're going to receive it. That means that the seller has to buy a package of all the rules and a certification that verifies this is current. Are there any fines? Are there any violations? So the buyer knows what they're walking into. And then the buyer has a timeline to review and potentially cancel, though it doesn't happen often, based on that. The problem is every single document in that package is electronically done and available with the click of a button, except the certificate. That is the only document specific to a property. And actually, there's like 5 line items on that. They have the ability to take 7 to 10 business days to prepare it, and then they can charge you hundreds of dollars for doing it. And that has nothing to do with charging you a capital contribution for selling your house, or a transfer fee for selling your house, or a new account fee, or an open close fee, or all these other crazy fucking fees. And then you start thinking about the homes that have more than one association, and some of these sellers are spending $1,700 for just the HOA fees. And then they take their sweet ass time to do it. And sometimes the information isn't always current either. And the dues aren't always current because it relies on a real estate individual to do their due diligence, to enter into their listings. Who's the HOA? Who's the management company? What's the phone number? And what are the current dues? Are they monthly? Are they quarterly? Is there more than one? And a lot of times information isn't current because agents just look at the last listing or they look at another one in the neighborhood and they don't do their own due diligence, which is an issue for me because it takes 5 minutes to call or ask your seller what they pay. You should be verifying that in your listings anyway. But I've always said, like, there should be a central place having to do with HOAs. There should be a database where HOAs are required to register and provide information. And I think there needs to be a hard line on costs they can charge. I don't think transfer fees should be able to be, over, a certain amount of money. And there are HOAs that charge between $250 and $350. And that's one of their fees.
So one of their fees, you know Danielle Gallant?
I do.
Right?
Yes, I do.
I love her. Have you talked to her about it?
I have not. I have not. I have thought about it. I have thought about reaching out for sure.
That is something that I think is right up her alley. She's amazing.
I would be down to sit down and have that conversation. I mean, and it would never be, there has been regulations that have tried to limit certain things, but I think all that happened is they limited this, so they added this here. I mean, there's just so many exorbitant fees that it affects the buyers and the sellers of properties.
Well, pennies equal dollars.
Yeah.
And you get $100 feed to death. Mm-hmm. With stuff, and all of a sudden you're like, "What am I doing?" Yeah. And now with rates up through the roof, it's crazy, and so that stuff all adds up.
Yeah,
it's bananas. What else besides HOAs? If you were overlordess, whatever the shit it is, of all of Las Vegas real estate, like ethical stuff from real estate agents or how the transactions are done.
I don't know. That's really hard to say, to be honest. I think there's so many ways. Like, there's not one path. There's not one way to get it done.
I agree.
So I think it's important that people do things differently, but I do wish there was better transparency on transactions, like just agent to agent with documents. Like, I wish it wasn't pulling teeth sometimes to get stuff. And then agents trying to lord over each other. Well, I'm not going to put this property in sold until you send me the walkthrough. You're not allowed to do that. Technically, the MLS rules require you have to change the listing within 24 to 48 hours of a change in the deal. If it falls out, it goes back on the market. If it's put under contract, it goes under contract. If it's sold, it goes sold. A lot of people just arbitrarily like to sit on a listing and not change the status.
It's true.
And I get it, especially when you're dealing with changing it into under contract, but you don't have earnest money yet. Because we've all been there where somebody, you take it off the market and then 2 days later, the EMD is still not there. The deal falls out and now it's been off the market for 2 days. And your seller blames you.
You're the schmuck.
You're the schmuck. Why did you take it off the market? You didn't even know that they were moving forward. And trying to explain to them that we have rules to follow, they don't really give a fuck. They don't care.
We'll get paid.
But I think it's hard. I think so much of it just has to do with like, don't be a dick.
Have you seen, how long have you been a realtor for?
10 years I've been actually licensed.
Okay. Are you seeing things with realtor behavior getting better, worse, or staying the same?
I don't think it's gotten much worse. I mean, I think I've had transactions that, make my eye twitch and I'm like, okay. On to the next one. And, they call you and they're like, oh, this was so amazing. I can't wait to do another deal with you. I cannot say the same, sir.
I'd rather go to the dentist.
I've literally said that recently. Like, I had a guy say that to me last year, like last fall. And I was like, he's like, oh, his deal was so smooth, blah, 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 blah. And in my head, I'm like, that's because I did it.
Why don't you tell him? Respectfully, why don't you tell him?
No, I mean, and I kind of did, is he made the statement to me of like doing another deal together and, how great it was. And I literally was that was the day where like my tact was kind of gone. It was a rough day. It was month end. I run compliance. I'm a broker on my own shit at month end.
No. You run compliance for how many agents?
We have 146 on the roster at this point. So I'm very lucky that I have an assistant that does a lot of it now. But no, I check files. I audit files daily. I see the craziness where I look at this form and I'm like, how did you accept this? How did you let our client do? Like, I see it all. But overall, I feel like my agents are pretty good compliance-wise because I am like up their ass about it. But I literally said to him, I wish I could say the same. And he's like, I don't understand. And I said, okay, can I be really honest with you? And he's like, well, of course. And I told him, I just said, I don't know if this was an unusual transaction for you. Like, I don't know if like a lot was going on personally or whatever, but this is where the shortfalls happened here. I said, now I'm sensitive to say anything because I'm not your broker. I'm not supposed.
It's very true. Very true. It's a fine line you're walking.
Well, it's one of those things and it's difficult because our number one goal is we have 3 goals in a transaction, depending on number 1, get the buyer keys, get the seller their money, and cash the checks.
The end.
Just keep in line for checks. So a big thing we'll say all the time, me and my mom, is like, my job is to keep you in line for a check. Okay? If you're derailing, I'm going to say, why are we derailing? How can we get you back on track? And I'm going to help get you there. Sometimes the most important thing I can show you, it cannot be saved. Stop wasting your fucking time. It can't be saved. Period. These are the ways to save it. If A or B cannot happen, stop, reevaluate, start over. Instead of continuing to throw money in an empty bucket. It's
like going on a first date with somebody and they think it went so well and you were like, it was horrific.
Bad.
And they have it's just missed signals. Completely missed signals that happen.
No, and sometimes like we've all been there. We're like, I'm sure that you've gotten calls about a deal or you've gotten this or that, and somebody is like, oh, was this? And you have to like look at your phone because you almost feel like you're having a completely different conversation. Because what they're saying and what you know are not the same. Legit. It's like the high five that doesn't quite get there. No, for sure. It happens all the time. But I mean, we did have that conversation, and I think I said, I'm very sensitive to say anything because I'm not your broker and I don't want to overstep. I said, and he was honest with me and he told me that, he'd been an agent for a few years, but he hadn't necessarily done a lot of deals, and he changed companies, and he doesn't really have any help. He didn't really know where to go, and he just let me do it.
What a wonderful conversation, though. Good for him for being vulnerable.
He was really honest with me about it.
Good for him,
said,
Lex.
And you could tell, he was kind of embarrassed and shy to say it. And I mean, listen, you figure out pretty early on in a deal, inexperience shows. But have some fucking grace. You don't always need to point it out to people. I've had people that will be like, oh yeah, I have an agent on the other side of this deal. And I literally said, clearly you don't know what you're doing. But I was like,
yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah.
You were that person. And I'm sure somebody else had the grace to be like, this person's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
But here we go. And you help them along the way. And sometimes I have had deals where I've had a couple where I've been like, okay, I'm going to ask a question. How many deals have you done? And honestly, it means nothing. And they'll tell me. Some of them will get defensive. I rarely ever ask, but every once in a while they'll be honest and I'll just say, okay. I say, listen, my number one goal is the same as yours. Close it, cash a check. Have a happy buyer, have a happy seller. Hopefully those happy clients give us more happy clients down the line. So I've got to help you to get to the same finish line. So if you have a team lead, if you have, a mentor, if you have a broker, they're your first line that are going to help you. If you can't get help, call me. Because if you don't win, I don't fucking win.
Well, you don't fucking win, but do you not have a team because people are afraid of you and you're borderline batshit crazy?
I don't think so. I mean, I'll be honest, we've discussed this multiple times over the years of me having a team. And I think it is I don't really necessarily, the more I think about it, have an interest in having my own individual team other than working with a partner, maybe mentoring an agent here or there.
Kill it with a team.
Because I oversee and lead a lot of people here and there and whatnot. And I just don't feel like I necessarily, it's not to say I haven't been a team lead and mentored and managed in so many different facets of life that I don't think I would be successful at it. It's just not something that I think I need to do. At this point, it's really not something I want to do. I wouldn't mind taking an agent on here or there that was specific. But as far as a team, and I think a lot of people feel oh, if I'm going to be big and badass in real estate, I need to have a fucking team. You don't.
I don't. When I said it to do a team, I don't mean Roland's got 20 people, 30 people, right, on his thing. And he's got the systems in place.
He's fucking great. He's great.
If you don't love Mike Roland in this town, that's on you.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
That's on you as a realtor if you have bad things to say about Mike Roland. I mean, he just is the quintessential realtor because he cares about his people, whether you're a client or you're on his team. He gives a shit.
He does. And I think the big thing is when he came over, it was him. It was him.
Shitting his pants, by the way.
It was him, and he was a little lost.
Yep.
And he knew he wanted to build a business. To see him start and to see where he is now. I'm so incredibly proud of the growth. And more importantly, listen, we've all been there, that have really good friends that are team leaders. Bro, you suck. You're
Awful.
a fucking ass team leader.
Yeah.
You're a great person.
Not the good ass you eat, the
and
bad ass.
You're a good agent, but you're the toxic ass kind of team lead that
Awful.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
You want to have leads and give leads to people? Great. But having a team, if you're not going to do it right, is not worth doing to me. But there's also a difference between having 3, 4, 5 people and scaling it. Mike has put in so much time in finding out, and I mean, he overwhelms me with systems, and he's constantly growing and elevating and trying to find better resources for his team so we can continue to scale and grow. But he is also not the team for everybody. He's dead ass serious about his program. He's invested a lot of time and effort and money and resources and training for himself and his agents, and he expects you to honor and respect what he's given you. So that doesn't fit for everybody. There are a lot of people that, want to be a team leader and think it's going to be easy. I'm just going to give you leads and you're going to make me money and let's have a fucking good old time. And there are people that come on a team and they're like, you're just going to give me leads and I'm going to make money. And then they're mad that they've got to pay for the resource.
Mike has a boot camp he puts his agents through.
30 days.
Talk about setting expectations.
Yeah.
What a thing of beauty for him to do that.
I mean, it's one of those things where like, and people like hear about boot camp and they're like, this is fucking real estate. And I'm like, dude, in shit tons of other industries, you have a 30 to 90 day probation period. You don't get insurance benefits. You don't get vacation. You're not putting it on your PTO. You ain't getting fucking shit for 90 days because we need to make sure you're going to stick. So why is it shocking? Like a huge issue that we have is there is no barrier to entry. Nothing. These motherfuckers. Nothing. There is no barrier to entry.
If you have a pulse and you're 18 and up and you're, I think, not a felon, but there's some felons we know that have their licenses.
You could be a felon. Just a certain kind of felon.
Yes.
Certain felons
Yes.
and a certain time away from your felony.
Yes.
And it's fine. And honestly, like, I give zero fucks. Like, it doesn't bother me as long as you're good at what you do.
Same.
And there are tons of people of every different industry that have started literally in the gutter, drug addicted, homeless, and have in and out of jail and have built multi-million, billion-dollar businesses for nothing.
We know people that have done that here.
100%.
We know people. I know people that were homeless.
Yeah.
That parents were drug addicts living out of a car and are now some of the top producing agent here in town. And I love her.
Absolutely. And I think it's important that like past means shit.
Oh.
It's no different than, I love, and this is one of my favorites, when the new agents come in and they've just passed their test.
Oh, aren't they adorable?
I got a 98% on my test. I'm going to kill it.
Good for you. Oh.
Sadly, passing the test means nothing.
Dick.
It just gives you the piece of paper to open the door, and whether you walk through it and build the house and whatever is up to you. But it always laugh because there is not one single person that has ever said that to me that has ever become successful. And they passed the test. And I'm like, great. Yeah. So the test that you needed a 40 out of 50, I got 40. The one that you need 40 out of 60, I got a 41 out of 60. Okay? I'm a fucking terrible test taker and math gives me anxiety. Really, you need a calculator for a tip.
My hands sweat. Yeah.
No, like everybody knows. Like I'm like literally, we did a big group dinner for Mike's recognition for, who's who under 40 this past Friday. Mom and I took everybody that went out to dinner. We surprised Mike and Molly and it was great. And then we get the check and my mom needs glasses to read the bill and she didn't want to get them out. She's like, Lexy, can you do this? And I'm like, how much do you want to leave? And she's like, 20%. And I'm like,
get your phone out.
3.
Calculator.
3, 4.
Double the tax.
Carry
round
the
it up.
1. I was like 7, 8, 9, 10. Carry the 1. And I'm like literally talking it out in my mind. And at one point, one of our agents is like, are you doing like addition? And I'm like, shh. And my mom starts dying laughing. And she's like, how is this possible? And I'm like, she's like, you did not get your math gene from me. And like my mother, my grandfather, my uncle, calculators, instantaneous. And I sobbed my way through college math classes.
Well, same, but that is, math is something, it's like learning a language. You either,
oh my God,
like you know it, you're immersed in it, you get it. My ex-wife, Mensa smart math. Mensa smart.
God.
Becky could do equations done. I couldn't. If my kids, Alex is going in the 9th grade and loves math, she knows, don't go to dad. Don't go to dad. I'll pay for a tutor.
I am
I'm
not. I can do, like, I can literally break down an entire legal deposition and write you like a 30-page explanation in like 2 days, no problem. Math, statistics, any of it? Nope. No, sir. No, sir. Like, I thought about going back to school and getting an MBA. And then I was like, it's not going to make me any more money in my field. So taking out the student loans or paying for it in cash just doesn't make sense to me. But before I got to that, you need to take the GMAT. Yes. No.
No, ma'am.
No, sir.
No, ma'am. I'm
no,
not doing
sir.
it. No, ma'am.
I looked at it and I even started taking a class for it. And like, I started looking at some of this stuff and I literally started like in the middle of class and I was like, no, I'm not going to put myself through it. If I didn't actually have to take it, then maybe I would just get it for fun, like to have it.
No.
Because I like that kind of stuff. But at the same time, like I would have to take a shit ton of math classes for, a master's degree in business. And that sounds fucking horrible.
I see people, I have great respect for like Chaim Mizrahi.
Oh, love, love
he
him.
is in the Fargo Jewish circle of trust, along with yourself, by the way. Well, and I adore him.
I adore him.
Adore him.
He's an incredible
For
part of the
him to
tribe.
have his SIOR, which is like your doctorate in commercial real estate, is SIOR. The math that they have to do for like SIOR, CCIM, all these, that's like legit stuff. But they're doing like string theory, for Christ's sake.
It is. I have always had a curiosity. I mean, as most agents, you are, and this is just like a rule of thumb, not the standard, obviously. Most agents, a majority, are residential or commercial. They do not operate in the same fucking sphere.
Resi-mercials, yeah, which is rare.
There are very few that can equally do commercial and residential well.
I know 2. That's it. In town. I know 2 and that's it.
Commercial real estate is a world of its own. And it's always been something that's interested me and it's always been something I've wanted to learn about. It is incredibly intimidating. And it's not something I've done some stuff here and there, predominantly referring it out. And then I've have incredible relationships with some commercial agents in town like Chaim and Galit Ventura Rosen. Yeah. Adore her, another beautiful member of our tribe and author, obviously, my love. And they've, helped me and taught me a few things here and there. It's out of my scope. And there are a lot of agents that just think that, oh, I sell houses. Selling buildings is the same. The fuck you say? It is not the same. It is not the same. It is so different and beautifully so. It is just a complete different world. And I mean, I can completely understand why a friend of mine from college, he was a barback way back then, and he now works at MDL with Chaim. And he literally posted a meme the other day on Instagram that was, when residential agents call you and ask you what the co-op is. Because in most commercial deals, sellers don't pay co-ops.
And that agent was Jared Katz.
Was it?
I don't know. I'm kidding. I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Also, Jared's another one who's over at MDL who I adore him. I adore him. Also in the Jewish Fargo Circle of Trust.
Yeah.
Fucking love Jared Katz.
So
love him.
I don't know who it was that asked.
That's hysterical, but it's so true. It's like, if you're a residential agent, the easiest money you're going to get is referring it out.
I want to learn.
Just refer it. Well, then what you do is you say to Chaim or whoever, hey, can I ride, side saddle on this with you? Mm-hmm. CC me on all the emails. Can I sit in all the meetings? Can I ask you questions and all that? Mm-hmm. Anyone who's decent, they'll be like, yeah, that's okay. If they know that you're serious.
Well, if they know that you're serious and you're not wasting their time.
Yes.
And number one, that you are nothing but an observer. You are not a passenger driver.
You can't reply to an email. You can't call anybody. You don't do anything.
You want to ask
out.
a question, you message me.
Yeah.
You want to call me. You don't interfere and overstep.
It's still the primary person on that is the commercial broker.
Absolutely.
And for a reason.
And it's so different. It's so different. And I've definitely had clients over the years that I've, if I've got a client just looking to rent a normal retail space, I can do a lease.
Yeah.
Fine, okay. But I've had clients where they're like, oh yeah, I want to, I had one client and they weren't able to find anything, so they didn't do it, but they wanted to buy a standing surgical center. So not only they wanted to buy a business as well.
Those are big. Yeah.
And then you need a business broker. And that is,
Whole nother
again,
thing.
a third realm.
Yeah.
There are so few business brokers in town.
There's business brokers, there's M&A, there's 15 different tentacles that come off.
Absolutely.
From commercial.
I think it's one of those things, it's like we always say, like in life in general, but different people, like, bro, stay in your lane.
For the diversity that a residential real estate person experiences is single family residential, a townhouse, a condo, maybe a duplex.
Yeah, maybe a fourplex or whatever.
A fourplex if you're feeling randy, but that's about it. Maybe some land, maybe a residential dirt.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's the only type of diversity you're going to see where commercial people are. I go back to Chaim. He is one of the smartest people that I know because he's just his brain. He's Mensa level smart with what he does.
We have an agent at our company, Michael Vesely. He is a commercial agent. That is all he does. Commercial.
Mazel.
Love him.
Awesome.
He's fantastic. He manages his own buildings that he has, and I've learned a bit from him. And last fall, there was like a big commercial symposium that Chaim was the president of the, I don't think.
NAIOP?
Yes.
NAIOP.
I was like, wait, I don't know the acronym. And Chaim was the president at the time that coordinated it. So I went to that event. And I spent the whole day doing like their commercial virtual bus tour. It was really cool.
It's super cool, right?
And they talk about, all different facets of commercial, whether it's retail or hotel or warehouse and industrial and multi-door family and in Henderson and Las Vegas and way out by Sloan by the racetrack and all this different stuff. And obviously anybody that doesn't live under a fucking rock knows there is warehouse, commercial, industrial space fucking everywhere under construction here. What the hell they're going to do with it, I don't know. But it's everywhere. And it was just really cool for me and to see the developments and the projects and talking about car washes and all the different shit. I was like the whole day. Like it was very educational for me. And I would definitely say to I wish it was required. Okay, I'm going to digress back. If I had the ability as the all supreme ruler leader of real estate nationally, I would make of the continuing education requirements, though they're all different. I think every single residential agent should have to take at least one commercial CE class. Just one.
That's a great one.
Just one.
That's to have empathy.
Just one. Because I think by taking it, it would clarify a few things in the sense of understanding these are the different categories. This is far outside of your lane that you go when you think that you know all and you know motherfucking diddly squat. This is the liability that you give me as the broker when you try to get involved in something of which you don't know because you're too stubborn to just say, I don't know. Let me find you the best in the game here. You're interested in purchasing a location for a cannabis lounge. You know what? I don't know anything about cannabis and the regulations here. Let me find you somebody who specializes in that. Not only do you reassert yourself as somebody who's willing to be honest and have integrity and find them the right person, now you build a relationship with the right person. And guess what? Where one cannabis client is, others will follow because it's a specific industry.
All day.
They're very specific about regulating bodies.
Yeah.
Because I had a client recently that was interested, when they were doing the lottery last fall, when they were issuing the first stuff for cannabis. And I had to reach out to some partners in commercial and say, hey, do you have experience with cannabis? What are the current regulations? What can I do?
Good for you.
Because I had no idea.
Good for you. All right, let's bring it back to residential real estate. Where do you see the single family residential market at right now? Because usually like things are booming and things are okay.
It's a little wonkadoodle.
But it's, you've got mass cancellations that I'm seeing from my end. What are you seeing and what are you thinking?
It's hard to say. I mean, a lot of people right now are circling and saying, okay, it's a seller's market. because of the low inventory we have, the shortage of inventory. And listen, like I have a client, I was literally on the phone with her on the way here. She's relocating. She's looking for $500,000 in Henderson and surrounding with a pool. How many do you ask? Single family homes? One. That was it. So on the way here, I called her to let her know I was going to be sending her a search, but I did have to shift the pricing because of the fact that there was nothing available in that initial number. I didn't want to blindside her and just send it, but we do have an inventory shortage. But I also think there are also underlying factors like there's fear, there's inflation, there's interest rates that are fucking rocking and rolling all over the place. I think it's a little premature to say so many people, oh, it's going to be 2008. It's going to be a crash. No, it's not. Okay? No.
There's not going to be a 2008 crash in 2023. It's not going to happen.
Will there be a correction of some kind? The market will always correct.
Always.
It will always correct.
Always.
What goes up must come down. What goes down must come
Yeah.
up. It will level to the scale. Of course, it's too early to tell at this point. I think the big issue right now is there's no trade up. There is no trade up potential right now because of the inventory shortage and because of the rates. So a lot of people at this time of year that would have been listing their properties to upgrade before the school year, before their children go back, or even to downgrade aren't doing that because they don't want to get rid of their 2.5%, 3.25% interest rate to buy something, number one, that maybe they can't even find, or two, to trade it up for 5.5%, 6%, 6.25%, 7%, depending on jumbos. Who knows?
Yeah.
And that's a huge deal is normally at this time of year is where we see our big boom in our trade up values. And we're not seeing a trade up market right now. And a lot of people don't even really want to downsize because they're like, okay, why would I downsize when I'm probably going to be spending equal to my payment now for a smaller house because the interest rate? And it doesn't level. It's not even a lateral move. So why would I just simply not use that room in the house anymore? Because I don't need it. I'll just not go upstairs. Like, why would they do that? So that's a huge issue that we're seeing. And I think that's what's really affecting a part of the inventory is people just aren't trading up.
I think that there is a massive fear factor in the market right now. Massive.
Well, the media is fucking super helpful with that.
You compound that with media contributions to the news cycle, compound that with uneducated, not confident agents to have a heart-to-heart talk with their people.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, when they said that we're budgeted for $2,200 and with all the fees, everything else, you're now at $3,600 a month and they're walking.
I mean,
that's what I see happening.
Absolutely. I mean, there are people like that's
Crazy.
why they have loan contingencies. And there are people like I have seen more and I see the cancellations. I have seen more cancellations specific to the loan contingency of the contract since January than I have seen since that was added to our residential purchase agreements many years ago.
What would you ballpark see cancellation rates at now? Because I mean, it used to, when I started, 10 years I've been in title and escrow, it was a third cancellations, but it's so 33.33%. Now it's I see it from where I am 40.
I would agree.
45. So sometimes it's like depending on the sector, but it's like bananas.
I don't think the cancellation rate in my eyes. I don't see it in the luxury market.
No, nor will you.
I don't see it at all there.
That's a whole nother animal.
That's a completely different animal. Like the numbers we're discussing are like. I would classify the 950 and under market.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you start getting into like the $1 million and over, you're just dealing with a different level of
$500,000 to $800,000 homes, single family residential.
Absolutely.
Those are the ones that I see the buyers coming in with the greatest of, ideas and design, but the lender, the realtor, whomever is advising them, or both of them, are not giving these people the right information and somehow praying that Aunt Fern's going to die and they'll get an inheritance or something's going to happen before we get to the closing table.
Well, you get twofold things. You get the situation of, our market in the last 18 months whoopty-whoopy.
Yeah.
That wasn't a word, but we're fucking going with it.
You've got it.
Whatever.
It's yours.
All over the place. You know what I mean? But I think the thing is, there was a time where people are still looking for properties that were looking several months ago when the inventory was considerably higher. Closing costs were coming back. Sellers were buying down interest rates. So people are still looking at houses because they couldn't find what they wanted because their price point. And now that inventory has slid and they're still needing, they're not asking, they're needing closing costs. They still need it because the rates are so high still. So they need closing costs. But now with the rates, now with the inventory drop again, they don't have leverage anymore. Unless the house has been sitting a hot minute, depending on the property. I mean, there's always, subsects and whatever. But on average, people that, need closing cost assistance right now because of the high interest rates and they're using it to buy down the rate or however they're using it because of the inventory drop, they don't have the power that they had 3, 4, 6 months ago. They just don't have that anymore. And then you've got the other thing of, like you very much said, setting expectations. And there are a lot of agents out there that are like, and we do say this, like, marry the house, date the rate. The rates will come and go and you can refinance. And that's all true. However, there's a way to proposition that to ease your client, but properly educate them and not dismiss concerns. Because there are agents out there that are just dismissing the fear of the rate being 6.25%. I don't know when the rate's going to drop below 4% where you can refinance it and now be comfortable. You might have to live for 3 years. But that's why we're seeing, the 3-2-1 buy down programs, the 2-1 buy down programs. I believe those are a Band-Aid solution, but they're sure as shit better than nothing.
Yeah. I agree.
So there's a lot of things. I think setting expectations and being honest without creating additional fear is important. And I think at the end of the day, your client respects you for it and how you present the information.
If you are consistently transparent with your client, you'll have a client forever.
Hell yeah.
You'll have a referral source forever.
Absolutely.
As a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to, if it's bad news, you pull it, like I tell my kids, I pull the Band-Aid off fast.
I'm a bad news first always person.
Yes.
What's the good news or the bad news? Why the fuck would I want you to give me a bump and then swack me?
Yeah.
And knock me to the ground? No, I want to hear the bad news, and then I want to hear how we're going to overcome that and soften it a little bit. I've always been one of those people. And sometimes there isn't good news.
Okay. Getting back to you starting a team. This is what you're going to do. Ever see the movie Kill Bill?
Yes,
Quentin Tarantino, Kill Bill 1 and 2.
You mean the samurai sword that I have in my house from somebody that gave me a samurai sword?
The greatest thing ever. That was just...
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jeff gifted me a fucking samurai sword years ago and solidified the forever long, lifelong friendship and love that we have for one another because I have a fucking samurai sword.
Because you're a samurai. But you are a samurai.
Ninja warrior.
And I'm like, I picture you as Bill. You're the one that's like, everyone is like subservient to you. Like you're the one that each person, say there's 4 people on your team and each one of them is proficient in something. Like he had, like there was like Black Mamba and there was this one who was like good with like a sword and this one was good with close quarter combat. And the bride, Uma Thurman, was good with a knife. You have 4 to 5 people on your team, each proficient in something different, like high rise, luxury.
Yeah. I've broken that down and I've thought about that.
Just, the regular meat and potatoes, just get on base every day, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 deals. That's where I see if you ever had a team, you would be lethal in this market with that.
I love and very much appreciate the faith and encouragement for sure.
I
love it.
I love you so much because I love our friendship first and foremost.
Hell yeah.
Right? I mean, you are someone that I adore forever. And I've never gone to someone's house before, not during the holidays, at 10 o'clock at night for mulled cider, except for your house.
Actually, it was a hot buttered rum.
Oh, sorry. Hot buttered rum. I
And
apologize.
cookies.
And it was fantastic.
A hot buttered rum and cookies.
You bake like you're a 78-year-old Jewish woman living in
But
Astoria,
I fucking
Queens.
do it well,
You
baby.
rock it,
I
man.
do it well,
You rock
baby.
it. Okay, so my final question is this to you. When is somebody finally going to like you and him or whatever is going on, please?
Your guess is as good as mine.
You scare the shit out of men.
Probably.
Probably.
I mean, I don't think I'm that scary.
I don't think you are either, but you okay.
I mean, I can understand that any strong female can come off intimidating. And a lot of people want to, like, I do have, like, I'm self-aware enough to recognize I am too independent for my own good. I can recognize it. You know what I mean? Like, that I've just been taking care of myself for so long that relinquishing any of that is difficult for me. I have no problem acknowledging that. I'm very self-aware enough to know it.
Good for you.
And I'm one of those, like, oh, I need to do this. It's like all the TikToks and all the videos of like the woman who like asks her husband to move a table, and then like 6 minutes later she's got like the straps on her back and she's like dragging it across.
Yeah.
Hi. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
Well, you're not the problem. What's your age range for dating?
So I'm 36. I'd probably say 35 to 45.
So you'd go up to 45.
It would depend, but yeah, maybe.
What are must-haves?
Humor. I am an incredibly goofy, sarcastic person. Oh yeah, and thick skin in the sense of like, I'm a straight shooter. Like I'm very sarcastic. If you can't laugh at yourself and with others, throw me in a fucking hole.
So it has to be funny, sarcastic, thick skin, not easily offended. Right?
I mean, I don't classify myself as offensive, but I can't deal with somebody that's like overly sensitive about fucking everything.
No, it's not a question of you being offensive. It's more on them. On what level?
Exactly.
What level of offense can they take?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there always has to be like a level, like physical isn't everything, but there has to be a level of attraction.
Absolutely.
People that say that looks fade, they do. So they got to start somewhere.
When I was dating, before I met Brandy on Bumble. She's in Florida. I met her when I was going back and forth to take care of my mom. Our first date, met her at her house. She made dinner, but she turned around and looked at her ass. I had to, because so many of these women I went out with look great on Instagram or Bumble or whatever.
Oh my God, online dating freaks me out.
You'd look at their ass and it looked like they got hit with a plank. Like there was just flat, nothing. Like put 2 wallets back there. Do something. Oh my God.
Online dating is terrifying.
The
thought of that is terrifying. Like I give people like yourself that have the confidence and the leap of faith so much credit in the world, because I tried eHarmony and Match years ago. Fucking traumatized for the rest of my life. Never again.
It's something that
years ago. It was awful.
It's something that, honey, that you in dating, it's like I'm blessed that there's a ton of girls I went on dates with, didn't work out. We're still friends. We're still friends.
I think
great friends, actually. A couple of them were wonderful friends.
I am friends with almost all of my exes.
I don't doubt that for a minute.
I'm friends with almost all of my exes.
I don't doubt that for a minute. I think that. Also, my question, is, do they have to be Jewish?
No.
Really?
Shocker. Learn a curve.
You've heard it here, folks. She's available. You don't have to be a yid.
So
it's okay.
I think the difference is.
But you better love Fiddler on the Roof.
Now, come on, do it.
No, I can't do it.
You gotta do it.
If I was a rich man, all day long I'd feed-dee-dee-dee-dum. If I were a wealthy man, hey, wouldn't have to work late. Oh, please.
That was the best thing I've seen in a long time. I adore. Fuck, that was great. Oh my God, that was like healing to my soul.
My daughter was Golda.
That was healing to my soul right there.
Alex was Golda at Thurman White.
I know.
And killed it.
I love it.
I'm in the front row. I'm shaking. I'm crying.
I love it.
Was like,
I love it.
It was so good.
I love it.
It was so good.
I love it. So for me, I think
Yeah.
the thing is it's like, yes, I'm Jewish. I'm very involved in our Jewish community here.
Yeah.
I sit on the board of directors for Jewish Nevada, but I did not grow up actively. Like, yeah, I was Jewish, but I was Jewish in the sense of like, I had matzo ball soup, but like my family was very mixed faith, like in the house. So like we did Christmas. We really didn't celebrate Hanukkah. I mean, it really wasn't until I was in like my mid 20s where a friend of mine is like, hey, we can go on a free trip to Israel. Let's do it.
Hey-o.
And I was like, hell to the fuck yes. 2012, life-changing. Life-changing. I came back completely like, I wouldn't classify myself as a religious person traditionally, but I'm a spiritual person. And my grandmother always taught me, you find faith where you find your faith. Sometimes it's outside. Like I'm a grounder. Every morning without fail, I get up, I turn off my alarm, I go and sit outside and I put my hands on my bare feet in the grass.
Oh, I love that.
And I just breathe for like a minute or two.
What's Frankie doing while you're doing all this?
She is staring at me, peeing in the grass, and then laying on her chair.
Thank you.
There you go. Frankie is my Frenchie, by the way, for anybody that wanted to know.
You have such a wonderful little life that you've built for yourself. And I just want to see you as somebody because not that you need it, but I think that there is a man out there who is empty because he is not with you.
That is very kind.
That's what I think.
He also might still be sane. I might corrupt the sanity a little bit.
There's 1,000% chance you're going to corrupt the sanity.
I mean, I think everybody has a crazy scale. I think everybody,
we all do.
I think everybody has one.
We all do.
I think everybody that knows me knows I am just, it takes a level. It's a level.
But you attract other crazy.
But I'm also full like cards on the table.
Well, honey, that's why I'm asking.
What you see is what you get is very much one of those things. And I think for me, like with relationships, as long as whoever I'm with was respectful of the fact, like, listen, I'm a Jewish woman and I want my children, like if I had any, because that would be the biggest thing is, within Judaism is, keeping the Jewish bloodline alive. And because I'm a Jewish woman, my children will always be Jewish.
Absolutely right.
Whether they're practicing or not, they will carry the bloodline forward. So I think for me, it's important that if I was with somebody and if we had children, that respect and understanding would be there. And I wouldn't have a problem lighting candles for Hanukkah on Christmas or on Hanukkah and then going to Catholic Mass because my dad was Roman Catholic, Irish, Italian growing up. And I went to Catholic Mass a lot when I was young for Christmas morning. So I'm familiar with it. Like as respect is there, I think having multi-faith households it's important.
Oh, I think it's wonderful.
It's understanding.
It's wonderful.
And I think the biggest thing is the communication up front. Because I do have a lot of friends that it's like, okay, you're talking about the shit now when you're already married? When you're already pregnant? Like now you're talking about how you want to raise your kids? And maybe I'm speaking out of turn because I've never been engaged. I've never been married. I don't have children. That maybe I'm speaking a little out of turn now. I just feel like those would be conversations you would want to have in the dating process before
100%.
You commit your life to somebody.
You absolutely should do that.
That you should want to know how we're going to raise our children, bring up our children, how we're going to keep our home, because if I was with a Jewish man who was incredibly religious and let's just say he kept a kosher home, that would be very difficult for me. I would respect it, but I would have a very hard time merging with that life because I don't want to maintain a home like that personally for myself. Like, it's just not my thing. And I have incredible friends that do that. And I mean, they have the most incredible homes and families and lives. It's just not for me.
You're allowed to own your own path.
Absolutely.
And the person that takes that path with you
has to know what path they're on.
Will love and respect you and the path that you are on and the path that you want to be on with him moving forward. That's all it is.
Yeah. For sure.
Right? That's all it comes down to. And I think what we'll do is this. I'll have my crack video team, because Scott gives me a 1 hour, well, no, we're over now, which I love.
We are, so I'm sorry.
No, we're fine. But he'll give me an edited long form video of this that goes on YouTube. And it'll go out like another month or two. But I have a team that does all my shorts.
Okay.
I'm going to take everything we can and build a dating thing for you that when you are introduced to somebody or someone says,
that's fucking terrifying.
Lexy, and you'll have a little zip file and it'll be like
this is how I feel about ass and
it'll
eating
be,
it.
We're going to talk about,
just so you know.
We're going to talk about anal sex, ass eating, commercial real estate, the real estate market as is, your requirements for what you're looking for in dating and having a child, and being also in a a wide variety religious household. We could do all that in about 70 seconds of just quick little clips, subtitled as well with emojis. I think it'd be wonderful. And then if someone says, Lexy, I've got a guy I want you to meet. You've got to meet this guy. He's wonderful. He's 39. He's Have
him watch this video and get back to me.
And then,
Filter his response to this
all
video.
All you'll do is go, send this.
His response will tell me all I need to know.
Have that video embedded into a Survey Monkey form. See what it said? How strongly do you feel about dating Lexy Glassman after watching this video? 1 is you want to jump off a cliff, and 10 is you want to marry her immediately without even meeting her.
I'm definitely gonna end up somewhere of like a 6. I mean,
Survey Monkey.
At least it's honest. At least it's out there.
Oh my God.
And at least you know, like, listen, if you are a gentleman who wants his ass penetrated regularly and from me, and you want me to eat your ass, I'm probably not the right fit for you.
As a traditional kosher woman. Not gonna happen.
No.
None of that's going to happen.
There
and
is
to the kosher women that like eating ass.
There is no blessings that can make that kosher.
There's nothing in the Torah that says and there's nothing
no,
enlightenment.
Sir.
There's nothing in the Wailing Wall that says anything.
There's no blessing or repentance.
No revelation. You're going to be and Jewish guilt's up there.
Guilt is up there. There is no repentance that I'm going to be able to sit through.
No.
That, you know.
No. As you're sucking on a mint to get the taste out of your mouth.
Oh my.
When you have a lozenge the size of a hockey puck.
That's going to be a no for me. It's going to be a no for me, dog.
Oh my God. I love you so much.
Oh my God. That's funny.
Honey, thank you for coming on my show.
I'm very grateful for you
this
having
has
me.
Been so awesome.
This was fun.
I want you to come back again.
I would love to.
And what I want to do is
super fun.
We'll do it again, and we're going to do drinks.
Yes.
And either it'll be just you and I, or we bring a third. And we'll have to really think about who we bring on as the third.
Okay.
That will be thought, because you and I will, in private, put a list together.
Well, because whomever the third is will direct the tone.
Oh God, that's
and
why.
The quality of the
know
banter that
with
we
us,
want.
we're good. That's a Google Doc that we'll start. I'll start it, and we'll just start adding names to it.
For sure.
And then we'll one person will stand out, and we'll go, yeah, that's a good fit.
Well, it's just different content for different things, for sure.
Absolutely.
Like, listen, ass eating and whatnot is not going to be for my certain targeted audiences. You know?
And now, Lex, as somebody
not quite everything.
As someone that will play point counterpoint, I love it. I think it's, like I said, my asshole is like eating Bacchanal buffet. It's wonderful, and I have references. I think I have Google reviews actually from it, Google business reviews. So
Jeff's ass.
Oh, please, it's glorious. SOS Wax. So on Blue Diamond. So. Oh my God. Oh my God. We're done. That's it. That's it. We're done. Scott, we're done.
Oh
That's
my God.
We're done. I can't
You're
anymore.
fucking wax plugs.